So it's been a while since I was able to do one of these videos, obviously caught up with work and stuff. But this is Chapters with Cham, and in the last week or so, I was finally able to finish this book. It's The Storm Sister by Lucinda, and it's part of the Seven Sisters series. A bit of a mixed review for this one because I feel like the story it's unrelatable for me. In a lot of the ways is just who the main character Ali is. I felt it was a little difficult to understand her point of view, her direction in life, how all of this, like, in the first few chapters, I think the author kind of rushed into her affair, like romance with this guy that she meets, and then suddenly 6 months later or something, they're in a very committed relationship, and then they want to get married. And this is all in like the time that her father has passed away. And it's just, I think maybe that kind of goes with the name Storm Sister, because it does kind of feel like there's a storm inside of her, where it's just here, there, like it's a lot of turbulence. But at the same time, like, the Storm Sister, I think, is named after her passion, which is sailing, and that's how she lost her boyfriend, fiance at the time as well. And then it kind of just takes another nosedive into where she's contemplating on what to do. She doesn't feel like she's whole again because she's lost the two most important men in her life. And now she's going to, as the series is about, she goes on to find her heritage. So she goes to Norway. Well, she starts in Norway, she goes to Germany, and she's like digging through these things, and she talks to people. She talks to people in like the orchestra, in the music industry, and she finally comes across a few people and realizes that her adoptive family is like, not adoptive family, but her biological family is here. She's got people alive, she's got a twin sibling, she's got a dad, that like a biological dad, who's got their own kind of issues going on. But this book, so the other one was split into two different ones. It's like the Seven Sisters one, based on my side of the story. This one is split into three different people. It's split into Ali, it's split into Anna, and it's split into Pip. So the author is now covering 3 generations of Halvorsons or whoever it is to make this story come to life. But I think it was a little too much. I wish there was a little more focus on just the two, like how she can take from one person and resonate it into her life, but having 2 separate stories of 2 generations, 3 generations, it's a lot to take in one book. And I realize it's fiction, I realize not real, but I think a little more lenient, like keeping it linear, would have helped in this situation, because it's a lot to take it in a book. I had to take it step by step because I couldn't keep up with it, because one moment it's about Anna, one moment it's about Ali, and then another moment it's about Pip, who is supposed to be her great-grandfather, one of the two, I think grandfather. And this whole thing is about death, betrayal, child marriage, and very poor decision making. Let me, like, mind you, it's a lot of, I really liked the first book. I thought it was a lot better in terms of writing, in terms of content, in terms of relatability. I thought this one was very hard to just keep up with. It was, some of it didn't make sense to me, some of it weren't necessary. A lot of the times I see her putting in small details, very small steps of, I'm going here, I'm putting this in my pocket, I'm something, something, something. This doesn't have much of the story that you think it would. I don't see character development in this story. I don't see her becoming less of a storm inside. I see it like towards the end of it. It's like I'm now finding where I belong in this life, and I've found who I belong to, or I like my heritage. But I feel like there's still like it's ending on such a big cliffhanger of this. Now she's about to have a baby, and there's another person that she's interested in, and I don't know, there was a lot more loose ends in comparison to how the first book ended. And yeah, I also didn't like I didn't like her as a character that she was written, and obviously I don't have to, but I thought there was a lot of unnecessary personality traits that were going on. For like a lot of the time she had very poor control of her emotions, like emotional outbursts. She threw up all the time, and she was defensive, and I just didn't. If I was giving it out of 10, I would give it like a 4 or a 5. Definitely not more than a 5. Writing, also no. Character, no. And it says a compelling novel on an epic scale. I don't see what they're like referring to. But I am going to get my next one. So I'm going to buy book 3, which is called The Shadow Sister, and they've actually given the epilogue for it, which I quite enjoyed, and I think it's a little more relatable to me. Yeah, it's an extract. So I'm excited to read that one, but until I get my pay, I'm not able to. So in the meantime, I thought I would read something that holds a special place in my heart, and that is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. And obviously, this is the original copy that I bought when I was in high school. This was purchased in 2008 or 7 or 6, I think. I'm not actually sure. 2007. So I am reading it again, and I'm really excited because obviously I watched the movie religiously once every month, and some bits are different from the book as I'm reading it because I don't remember much of it, but obviously the movie is like etched in my brain. The script, the dialogue, the breathing, all of that is etched, but I want to see the difference between Bella in the books, because Bella is writing about her emotions, and obviously on screen you've seen Bella has no emotions. So I want to see what her emotions are like, and she's quite descriptive. Like Stephanie Meyer is like a descriptive in a nice way, because she's very detail oriented. Bella, when she's thinking about stuff in her head, she's very, very meticulously looking at all these details around her. She's looking at the people, she's looking at. So yes, I got a call. So yes, Bella is surprisingly detailed in comparison to what I see from the movies. She's very emotionless. Like she shows a bit from her eyes, but you never know what's going. Obviously, you don't know what's going on inside her head because it's a movie. But when she takes in stuff of like Jessica, of the school, of the people around, of the weather, of Charlie, of especially Edward, because she's so descriptive about Edward, it's really nice. Like you don't expect her to be this detailed, but Bella has a personality in the books. Bella has surprisingly, she's funny inside her head. She's not funny outside, but she's obviously like an introvert, so that makes sense. But she's very interesting to read as a character. Very realistic, because she's honest about her feelings. She's like, I don't like it here. She's very much a teenager in this one. It's like she's supposed to be 16 or 17. She acts 16 or 17. There's I really like it's refreshing. I'm excited to continue reading this until the next book for this one. Like I get the next one for Storm Sister, which is Shadow Sister. But also like I have my TBRs that I want to read, which I've listed in one of my other videos, and I'm gonna go get that one as well. I also have a book I'm supposed to be getting for my book club. It's a Nora Roberts classic romance. Should be able to finish that very quickly. Very easy to read. So I have a few books I need to get through, which is first one is this one. Then I have The Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. Again, it's a drag, but I'm reading it. Then I've got The Shadow Sister. Then I've got my book club book and my TBR. So that's about 5 books that will last me for this whole month. I'm excited. I'm thoroughly enjoying reading and I haven't stopped reading. I obviously slowed down when I was at work, but we're back and we're happier to have a book such as this one in my collection. And obviously I have the other 3 books as well: Eclipse, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2. So I have both of those, all of those. And I'm excited to read as much as I can because my brain needs a break from life, from everything. So let's finish this and I'll give you my 2 cents when I'm done with this one. Until then, adios.